Hello and welcome to our 83rd session of Global Circle of Light Energy and Emotional Mastery. Today's topic of healing and conversation is dragons. Thank you for joining this replay. It's our really exciting expert session covering higher connection. So we already done angels, archangels, souls, light beings, and star beings. So this is like a continuation. And why it's exciting? Because it's heavily overlooked topic. So hopefully, by you being here, we're going to create a new frontier for many people to follow. So why are dragons so exciting? Well, it's because in a way they're already light beings, star beings, and they're very much about connecting to power, earth. And in different cultures there's different dragons, but many of them combined there's like a mystery. It's about power, empowerment. And my experience was very interesting with dragons, because as a childhood, like it's in the Orthodox or Slavic culture, dragons is very much into about magic in folklore. So like very many stories were like with dragons, been one head, three head, or nine heads. So this is like number of three, or Trinity was very important, and usually three brothers went out to defeat them. One was arrogant, one was like obviously failed, other one was lazy and failed, and the youngest one usually win with help with fairies, magic, potions. So there was like lots of different stories within a story. And some of it is kind of really about dragons, because dragon energies can be really powerful and superior, and if you don't have like a balancing force, it can overwhelm you, and kind of in some way people can go into their ego. But this is like an old dragon energies, and what people been afraid, and it relates to Atlantis. So for being superior, being really powerful, really strong with earth, and somehow it didn't work out for one reason or another, and like people have closed down. So this like reintegrating the dragons is like going to help like to rediscover what we already have, and deal with fear of being superior, like embracing like aspects of ourselves we have, and really like going to bring all of this into the heart and higher chakras. So like whatever power and gifts we're going to get today and in the days to come, we're actually going to be using for our good and highest good. So for me, that was started to let go like about 4 years ago. I started to connect more, and my friend like helped, like so there is a dragon high dimensional symbol. I started to work, and it was a gradual sort of opening up, because I had this fear of this anger with dragons. So they like stealing like ladies, they're like being evil, and they also like they're a symbol of 12th century and 13th century invasion from east of Mongol Tatars, like which done a lot of in sort of Slavic cultures. They done a lot of evil and killing, and were very like negative. But at the same time, I have some bloodline to that, so it's kind of there is a beautiful and powerful. And then like I managed to get like really nice cards with dragons, and they show they're like more about dragons to it. Then, and more recently I got sort of amethyst with a dragon. So there's many tools to help to connect with dragons. But in ancient time, they used to refer to ley lines. They used to call them, especially in England, dragon lines. So Michael line, Mary line, big energy like sort of lines which people you used to be aware. They used to build like powerful ceremonies around those crossing of these lines, which is Glastonbury is really like a good example. Have lots of crossings of ley lines, really powerful and magical side. So they were like referring to those. So like whenever you're working with dragon, it's really about connecting really deep within the earth to ley lines and beyond, because dragons which are coming now, they're like 5-dimensional, 7-dimensional, 9-dimensional. So they're not just about earth anymore. They're like bring a lot of them like bringing aspects of love, beauty, creativity, but they still like to get there, it's about finding the balance of elements. So there is like dragon for fire element, there is dragon for earth element, there is for water, there is for air, and uh, just be mindful when you start working with dragons or something. So it's finding a balance. And for me, good example is like you work with angels maybe one day and dragons another day or 1 week. So there's a lot of release of solar plex energy. Like if your air comes up, and very exciting. So like finding these elements, dragons will help you connect to elements, but there is many high dimensional. So like in that dragon card, oracle cards I showed, there's dragons for every star being. So there is one for Pleiades, one for Andromedans. And for me, when I was connecting to dragons, actually it came with the ancient Slavic name. Somebody, my dragon was connecting. So there is always kind of other angles to working with the dragons, to reconnecting to some parts of yourself which already work with dragons. So Merlin would be like really a good ascended master to work with if you want help with dragons, because Merlin energy is very much about healing the earth, about magic, alchemy, shifting. And Merlin people, like many understand, is almost like a twin or manifestation of Saint Germain. So it's both working with violet flame in a different way. And it's very important, and what I have posted, dragons is really to help us to come into power and our vibration. So whenever you move in a room or situation, you have this power and vibration to actually be able to shift any situation in something positive. So you're not going to be worried like to go into difficult situation, because if you need to come to hospital, you come hospital and you'll be surrounded by love and purification. And if you take dragon energy with you into where people fight or drink a lot, pubs or like bars and other things, you're going to take again this calming energy and transformative energy, and people are not going to be as opposed to go and start drinking yourself, you'll be encouraging people to be around you, to actually be more mindful and slow down and start to let go of the addictions. And this is really why we connecting to dragons, because if you connect just to angels all the time, your vibration is very high and love is very high and can be very transformative. But sometimes, like in physical, like earthly perspective, it can be very challenging, and many people found instead of shifting situations, they absorb the situation into themselves and they get drained. So balancing angels and dragons can really help you be in union with those yin and yang, masculine, feminine, earth and spiritual perspective, because it's really nice to have this spiritual perspective, understand what is oneness, understand like we one of every angel there is, but it's also very important to come back into the earth and to have this earthly perspective of unity with our ancestors, understanding and honoring how ancestors been, honoring like the times were like difficult, but having this ability to actually shift things, so have completely different experiences. And we can speak for a long time, but crystals is really good. Like I have seraphinite, is really is good crystal, connecting to nature. I mean, there is like a mini dragon there, like to connecting to Kundalini. I mean, generally black crystals, any black crystal is really good for grounding. It also can help you connect to dragons, but depending from what perspective you want to connect to dragons, because for some dragons it's really high heart vibration, like is really powerful and important. Well, let's going to have a healing now, because it's we spoke a lot. It's really about embracing and just allowing any sort of barriers within you, without actually having to go that way, without having to surrender anything. Just allow the space within you to reconnect to the most powerful dragon energy you already know. So what if in your childhood you experience, if your parents, or like if maybe 10 or 20 generations before your ancestors were really working with them, because you must have, like, if you're here, you must have like really powerful ancestors who built churches, and to build a church they used to like douse the energy, either like formally or informally. They used to be like really understand the hills they have to build it on, understand other things. So just gently close your eyes, feel into yourself in a beautiful bubble of golden light. Golden light completely surrounds you and protects you 360 degrees around. And let's start to connect to healing together. Thank you, my higher self, for receiving healing and grounding by Michael. For my and Earth's highest good. slowly and gently start to come back into here now. There is no rush, just allow the healing to continue. And just be grateful for all the like dragons, all the higher beings helping you, and just be open-minded, like the connection you're going to get. But the crystal I spoke before, box is serpentine. Is a very good one, and it's actually a very good session for healthy kundalini, because kundalini is in a way is our dragon energy, so it intervenes through both masculine and feminine aspects. So this is really great session to do. And if you're empath, or many of us are blue beings or violet beings of really like working brow and higher chakras, this is really important balancing session. So considering doing like 10 or 30 of those, and you'll see much better balance in your life, much more empowered. So as opposed to being empath, you'll become powerful healer. As opposed to being just sort of a blue being, you become a powerful manifester, because you'll be more balanced. And we have other sessions, 52, 53, were very grounding elements. 68 and 75 is really good. And we continue to create, so we're going to have a session on fairies and Lemurian, which are very, very grounding. And this is the same. I mean, it's about being connecting to the source and all aspects of source. And some dragons is one aspect of source. So at some point we go about dragons and connect directly. At some point it's better to connect through dragon energy, because while we're still here on Earth, it's really about balance, creativity, power, and many other aspects. And each one of us approach things differently, so we need slightly different things. And enjoy this session and replay, and it was really powerful for me. I appreciate you joining, and looking forward to what it brings.